ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्ति भेद विभागिने व्योमवत् व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः. Most esteemed Swamiji, Professor Bhatt, Professor Pannirselvam, Professor Paranjape and all others, Dr. C.L. Ramakrishnan, my informal guru, I must say, such a great scholar here, and all others who have assembled here in this seminar. Instead of going to the philosophy of Karya and Akarya, I would like to start today with some stories. As the background of this Karya and Akarya, which is being discussed in Srimad Bhagavad Gita. The first story is a story from Ramayana. The story goes like this. When Ravana is losing a lot of his commanders, he is convening a council of his ministers as to what to do next. And he knew that ministers would say that give up Sita, leave her, like return her to her husband, then there can be reconciliation and we can bring peace. But then Ravana, thinking that that might be the basic problem, prima facie, what he does, he says, Nadeya yadrushi Sita, Badhyuja Badhyo Dasarathatmajo. First, these are the two conditions my ministers, council of ministers is addressing Ravana, that I would not give up Sita. And second condition, that these two sons of Dasaratha must be killed. And now you give me whatever suggestion, so counsel you want to give. That is number one. I would tell you little later why I am bringing this as a prelude to what I want to speak. The second story is from Mahabharata. The story is, the Bhishma is gone, Karna is gone, and Drona is gone, and Karna is gone. But the expectation of Duryodhana that he will win the war is not gone. And he says, Sanjaya says, Dhritarashtra, see, king, Hate Bhisme, Hate Drone, Karne cha Tridivam Gate, Asha Valavati Rajan, Shalyo Jeshyati Pandavan. See, the time has come, the Shalya has to fight, and Duryodhana thinks that Shalya will win over the war, the battle, in his favor. That is the condition that we have come. The second thing. Second story. The third story is a very interesting story. I would not take much time, another 10 minutes. Yeah. Third story is from Kiratarjuniam. What happens? Kiratarjuniam, Bharavi writes that a king goes to fight a war. Those days wars were fought for a very long time, like Ukraine and Russia war now. And he has gone to the border of his country for fighting, and it has taken 15 years to fight for him to come back. And when he went, his wife was pregnant. And when he comes back, he enters into the harem and he sees that his wife is sleeping with a young man. He takes his sword and wants to kill the young man who is sleeping along with his wife. Suddenly he sees a line on the wall which was written before he left. It seems Bharavi was he was influenced by Bharavi's scholarship. It is written, Sahasha vidadhita na kriyam. Nothing should be done in a hasty manner. Okay? So, the three things, like what he does, he thought that whatever he may be, he will not be able to overpower me. Therefore, let me just wake them up and find out. When he wakes them up, the wife says that this is your son, and he says how great the line was. Okay, with these things, I want to start. What is happening in this Karya ideal in the Gita? This Karya and Akarya, three things are being projected here. One is Rakshashi Sampat, another is Asuri Sampat, another is third is Daivi Sampat. Three things, three ways of looking at Karya and Akarya. See, one thing Sankara is doing here is like Ganga in Varanasi. It takes a turn. All through Shankara was talking in favor of Jnanam, and now he is talking in favor of Karma. See, this is a very great, important, milestone in the whole discourse of the Gita. And if we see Shankara following Gita, Shankara does two things. And Shankara does two things means Shankara does not do anything by himself. He takes the clue from the Gita. He says, he takes the clue from the tradition. Two things. Number one, he says that any text, any sampradaya, any philosophy, if it does not take Veda as the pramana, that is not the Sat philosophy. That is not the right philosophy. Veda has to be pramana. Number one. This is my reading of the Bhashya, but this is what it is. Second, if the Samkhya theory of causation cannot be the theory of causation. True things. In and through the Bhashya, these two things are repeatedly proved, established, that Samkhya matam pramanam na bhavati and Vedasya pramani. These two things. And Krishna is bringing here, see, usually there has been a debate between Shankara vis-a-vis Madhva and Ramanuja that karma is being given up by Shankara. Like he says that one athato brahma jignasa, atha does not require, the karma kanda, like karuna dhanantaram, like it is not necessary that karma kanda has to be done according to Shankara. But here, if one reads very carefully, one sees how much emphasis Shankara is giving on this particular point. And the Gita, so Gita, it has been done in a very simple but quite profound manner, that karma is essential for Jnana. Karma is essential for Jnanam, that is being proven, established in this Karya Viveka. Right, what Dr. Ramakrishnan has already told, that Asura Daiva Sampat Yoga. So, this is what has been done. So, as you know, everybody knows, I am not going to tell most of you know what has been, as he told that when you come at the end, you say what all has to be spoken has already been spoken, therefore, I will not take much, but, if you give me time, I can also talk about it. But now, whole Gita, as you know, is divided into many sections according to different traditions. One of the traditions divides it in 3 shortcuts, 6 chapters each. So, the 2 chapters, 16th and 17th, has got a subject matter, and as I told you, there is a total shift from the 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th and 15th. This discusses the goal of life related to one's way of life. What is the goal of life and what is way of life? And both how Krishna says and the commentators, all commentators, like not only this. One more thing I wanted to tell you. What is the difference between karma and karya? How karma is different from karya. There is one verse, and tasmat asaktaha satatam karyam karma samachara asakto yacharan karma paramapnoti purushaha. So this is the verse. Karyam karma and Karya, they are different. Karma is any action. Karya is an action which ought to be done, should be done. In that sense, Karya and Akarya, like to act and not to act is not Karya and Akarya. That which should be done, which should be acted, and which should not be acted is the Karya and Akarya. That is the translation. So the Vedas consider this way of life is important for goal of life, and this Veda Purva, the Karma Kanda portion, is equally important than as much as the Jnana Kanda portion. So, if your mind is determined by Veda Purva, you can understand the significance of our culture only if you keep your mind the way Vedanta, which talks about the goal, so the assimilation. So Krishna feels that his teaching is complete only when he talks about the complementary part. That is the Veda Purva part, which is way of life. Professor Srinivasan spoke about it in his own way as to how Mimamsa brings all these things. Therefore, the previous 3 chapters deals with the goal, and after speaking about the goal, now he is talking about the means, that is way of life. And the way of life is heavily influenced by the character, the personality, the makeup of the person. And the first classification is he gives, there are 3. The first, as I told you, Ravana, Dvesa Pradhana Swabhava. I am trying to bring the 3 stories that I told you, episodes. Dvesa Pradhana Swabhava, a character in which a lot of dvesa or dislike is predominant, and it may be because of many reasons why such things happens. In Indian tradition, we explain this through Purva Janma. It may be because of the present Janma. It may be because of so many things, but this happens, and one type of character is dominantly Dvesa Pradhana, and this is what the commentators do, like Anandagiri, Shankara, Madhusudana, Vamsidhara, all these commentaries I have taken just to show you in English what exactly the essence of this particular verse, that Karya Vyavastito, So that is what it is. So, and this accumulated dvesa leads to a lot of anger suppressed inside, anger against everything. So dvesa pradhana character is generally krodha pradhana character, and this leads to himsa pradhana, Ravana, and a person who is highly short-tempered and all that, highly volatile, does not require anything, like he cannot tolerate people, asuya purna. So even the smallest incidents will cause an earthquake or volcano in that person. So Shastra, this type of people are classed as Rakshasa Swabhava. So why does the Shastra calls it Rakshasa Swabhava? Because when a person is so volatile, what will be his attitude towards other people? People will try to avoid him, and people would try to save others from him. Therefore, there is an explanation of what is Rakshasa. Rakshanti janaha asmat. People have to be saved from him, such type of people, Ravana. So, avoid, escape, save. So this is what is the first thing that is being given in this Karya Akarya Vyavastha. Karya Akarya Vyavasthitu. Then comes the second one, Raga Pradhana. Raga Pradhana, that is Raga or attachment. Attachment means you don't want to put others into problem, but you want to keep the status quo. I want my throne to be saved. I want my kingdom to be saved, not to be given, like you can understand. They have done a lot of dvesa also. So this is a Raga Pradhana. Raga is related to Kama. Therefore, it is enjoyment which becomes important here. And those who are Raga Pradhana, they are not bad people, materialistic, but this group, Krishna tells them, Asura Svabhava. And therefore, the second character is character that which leads to spiritual stagnation. The first one, there is no hope for spiritual growth, fulfillment. Second, there is spiritual stagnation. But now, not these people, not they are all on themselves. They like their name and fame. It is not there against anybody, but they never think that there is a possibility of going out from what they have. They want to sustain those things. But it is all centered around this. That is raga. So the third is Daivi Sampat. The third is, that third Svabhava is Daiva Svabhava. Deva means light, enlightenment, Prakasa, and these are all three Svabhavas, that is Deva, Asura and Daiva. So all these three people possess their own wealth in the form of these characters, and these characters are compared to wealth because Sampat means wealth. Asuri Sampat, Rakshasa Sampat, Daivi Sampat, wealth. These are all wealth. So Krishna wants to talk about Daivi Sampat, otherwise called as Daiva Svabhava. Then Asuri Sampat, Asuri Svabhava. So, and having presented the three characters of our inner growth, Krishna wants to say, why, Arjuna, if your goal is spiritual knowledge or moksha, the only conducive way is Daiva Svabhava. But Krishna says, if you value spiritual life, but if you value moksha, then the way of life is also to be aligned with your goal. The goal has to be aligned with the way of life, which is conducive to that Daiva Svabhava. Therefore, you have to take into account your way of life. Okay? Like in the previous 3 chapters, like all that is spoken is Vedanta, but here what is spoken is Veda Purva and importance to Veda Purva. So, therefore he says, Yas Shastram Vidhim Mutsrujya Vartate Kamakarataha Nasa Siddhim Avapnoti Nasukham Na Param Gatim. This is the verse, the previous verse. On the other hand, these verses from 22nd onwards in this chapter, this is the conclusion of the teaching, that if you want moksha, spiritual knowledge, it has to be aligned with your way of life. The way of life is given so much importance at the end. So a good character does not guarantee liberation. Please remember, this is the Vedanta Prakriya. A moral or ethical life by itself will not lead to liberation, because an ethical life does not remove ignorance. Ignorance must be removed forever. Only difference is that he is an ethically ignorant person. He is ethical, but he is an ignorant person. Therefore, if ignorance has to go away, he has to pursue spiritual sadhana, and that he has to, that he has said, Tato Param Gatim Yanti. He will attain Param Gatim Moksham. After that only. The best thing is to follow the teachings that has been spoken by me, Krishna says, and this is if you don't follow what, like Yaha Shastra Vidhi Mutsrujya, he who does not follow Shastra and does all ethical things, here there is like all ethical things are spoken by many things. Buddha speaks, Jaina, everybody speaks, but according to Gita, according to Vedanta tradition, all these things will not lead you to moksha unless you follow the path that has been charted out in the Veda Purva. So what is happening? What is all this is? There was a seminar, Swamiji. There was a seminar you did on adhikara, right? On adhikara, adhikari or something. So this is what is the main theme, crux of this Karya and Akarya, which are the adhikari. Who is adhikari? A person who will have anum bandha chatusthaya, he will be adhikari. So a person will be incapable of enjoying even Vishaya Sukha if he does not have adhikara. Therefore Krishna says, Na Sukham, because he will take over to indulgence and will lose all the health and mind and everything, even the sukha cannot be enjoyed. Therefore, this also is gone, that also is gone. So you squander your health and in search of wealth, and you squander. That is what Swamiji Paramarthananda used to speak about this way. So, therefore, the scriptures are the source of knowledge for you, and determining do's and don'ts, what has to be done and what not to be done. Having known the teachings of the scriptural injunctions, you should do your duty here. Therefore, the idea given in the previous verse is again reiterated here, that if you don't want to make use of Shastric guidance, if you don't want to make use of the Shastric manual, like using any gadgets, you will lose the gadget, you will lose the way, you will lose your purpose, the purpose will be lost. Similarly, if you give up the Shastric guidance, you will lose the wonderful opportunity of getting moksha. Therefore, you have to connect like that. Therefore, so 2 minutes, I will finish. Therefore, make use of this Vedantic teaching. Tasmat Shastram. Shastram originally is not any Shastram, Veda Shastram, and all other secondary literature, Smriti, everything, all this literature are based on the Vedas, Angas. So what Krishna says is, it is Pramanam, it is the guidance for you with regard to what? Karya Vyavasthitavu, with regard to the norms of what to do and what not to do, Vyavastha. So, like our Pramana Vyavastha, Karya Vyavastha, the standard with regard to what? That is the norms, the do's and don'ts. The Karyam means do's, Akaryam means don'ts, and this is the Vidhi and Nishedha. Somebody was speaking about that. I don't have much time, I don't want to take also. And here we are talking about Vidhi Nishedha or Dharma and Adharma, and therefore the word Shastrang must be translated as Veda Purva Shastram. Okay, Dharma Shastram. And with regard to Vidhi Nishedha, we do not have to go to Vedanta. Vedanta does not deal with Dharma Adharma. See, this is one of the peculiar things of the Vedas. This, like what to be done and what not to be done. See, Ajnata Jnapako Vedaha. So, therefore, with regard to the Vidhi Nishedha, we don't have to go to Vedanta, because there is a lot of discussion about that. It's the Siddha and Sadhya. Siddha and Sadhya Vyavastha. Therefore, may you first follow the Veda Purva Dharma Shastra and prepare the mind preparation. So, Jnatva, and with regard to Dharma Shastra, mere knowledge is not enough. You have to implement what you know. Implementation is being spoken, as I told you. Here there is a turning of Krishna, having spoken so much about Jnanam. He says, Jnanam cannot be thought of unless you have the proper lifestyle. Therefore, knowledge will not bless you. If Jnana itself will bless, so if Jnanam has to bless you, then you have to go in the path. The way of life has to be taken care of. In Karma Kanda, Jnana should be followed, Karma and Anushtana. Here, this Anushtana is a very important thing. Here, where there is, I have also written about 1 minute, sir. So, about this, that what was lacking in Buddhism, what was there preeminently present in the non-Buddhist schools like Hinduism. I say this is not a Hinduism or Sanatana Dharma, Dr. Paranjati. I have given a name called Arsa Dharma. It is Rishi-centric. Therefore, Buddha is a Rishi, Charvaka is also a Rishi. That I could not tell you. When we were proposing the Sanatana Dharma, I wanted to say Arsa Dharma. This Arsa Dharma is everything inclusive. Buddha is ours, Arsa. Like he may say something which is different, but he belongs to our tradition. He is a Rishi. Charvaka is also a Rishi. So Krishna says, Jnatva Shastra Vidhanoktam, Shastra Vidhana Anushtana. So this Anushtana is something where whole Buddhism could not match the Brahmin, so-called, I don't say that, Arsa Dharma. So, Professor Paneslavu might have difference of opinion with me, but we had always enjoyed difference of opinion. But, so, what he says, First learn what is right and wrong. Don't stop with learning right and wrong. Karya. First know what is Karya and Akarya. Okay? Then you have to implement that. Kartumihar-hasi, you should do that. What you know. So the Lord Krishna tells how to change yourself from Asuri, Rakshasi Sampat to Daivi Sampat. How to get the real wealth and then pursue Vedanta and attain Jnanam and Moksham. You know, one thing, 1 minute, Professor, I wanted to tell you. This idea is reflected in, like Gita is the essence of the Vedanta, no? Upanishads. Reflected in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Yajnavalkya Maitreyi Sambha. You know, and Sureshwara, Professor Bhatt sir, Sureshwara gives a very beautiful example of this. That what is this Vedanta and how will this Vedanta come? Then we had a book called, you know, there is a Sambandha Vartika. What is the relation between Karma Kanda and Jnana Kanda? And at last, Sureshwara says, I quote, Maitreyi is telling Yajnavalkya that Nadyam Nantam cha Madhyam cha Dhanasya Yasya Vidyate Danena Nakshayam Yati Tadeva Vasudiyatam. He wanted that you take property and go. The other lady went. This lady told, oh, no, there must be something wrong with this. You are giving that means there must be something lacking in that. Give me what you are going for. Then he is telling, Nadyam, that which does not have a beginning, no middle, no end. Nadyam Nantam cha Madhyam cha Dhanasya Yasya Vidyate Danena Nakshayam Yati. However much you give, it does not diminish. It remains the same. Tadeva Vasudiyata. Give me that property. And that is what is being spoken in this by Daivi Sampat. By cultivating that Daivi Sampat. What is Daivi Sampat? That Adhikari, Swamiji, Adhikaritva Anubandha Chatushta is Daivi Sampat. And if one follow the Adhikaritva Anubandha Chatushta, there is possibility of Jnana, Moksha. Thank you very much, Swamiji, for inviting me at the last minute. I am grateful to you, grateful to all of you.